very easily.
I think they do too. I think both these teams just really like the Wisp.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think they could also pick up Enigma versus it too. I don't know. I feel like Wisp isn't as high a priority.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, Ember gets taken out first. Speaking of drafts, previous game that these two teams played each other just about an hour or two ago, we saw a Lone Druid picked up. We saw an Enigma picked up. Enigma has been banned a couple of times, but Lone Druid basically hasn't shown itself at all. Are we expecting things like that to happen again?
Definitely possible.
Because, I mean, OG got destroyed in that second game against the Lone Druid. How do you deal with RTC's Lone Druid?
I think it was. I don't think it was just a Lone Druid. I think it was kind of like the game plan they did it and what they were verse. They just had this Enigma who I think it was he threw 0 black holes, right?
One.
He did use 1 black hole. So it was just like they had this very good unit that they could build around the Lone Druid. So he could go for that straight up glass cannon build because he had so many different frontliners for himself.
Yeah, just the threat of a black hole was enough to keep OG at bay at that point. We have the Ember Spirit, Earth Spirit, removed as well. Spirit Man's removed, and Slardar as well.
They dealt with the Earth Spirit really well earlier, but this time, definitely a switch up, not wanting to. I mean, it's Jarex's best hero. I think his other one is probably the Pudge that he's been having really good favor on.
Now, previously we had EG also banning out Shadow Demon. We had, well, I was gonna say obviously Underlord banned out, but this time Underlord is still in, so Evil Geniuses, surely.
There's also SD Luna, which have not been available to OG. It's usually just Luna or just SD, mostly just a Luna. So EG can go back for their Wisp plus Underlord opener that they've done before, or you have to address the SD.
And that is indeed what they do, meaning that OG can get their they can get their hands on the Underlord, which was the one that we were expecting, but I don't think we were expecting Lone Druid in the hands of OG.
Are we going to see Wraith King?
That's exactly what I was thinking. The Zai Wraith King is something that always pops in my head as a support, but they could probably run it easier into the RTZ.
Why does the Wraith King then comes to mind when you see this draft?
He does 500% crit versus the Lone Druid bear.
Yep.
That is a very squishy bear.
Yeah, with the Soul Catcher on top too, it's quite an immense amount of damage, and I don't think this probably deters them a lot from picking the Luna, but as I say that, they grab it anyway. It's just different when you're playing with Shadow Demon Luna, even though there is that bear in order to tank up the Lucent Beams from the Eclipse.
Yeah, SD Luna's much stronger.
Much different monster. Yeah.
Yep.
We still have the IO in the pool as well. We saw Evil Geniuses themselves running the IO with the Underlord together, and basically be unkillable no matter how many ultimates you throw at them. That should be a worry for Evil Geniuses, surely?
Possibly,
yeah. Just Wisp Lone Druid sounds a little. I guess it's okay. Yeah, you can overcharge the bear and everything too. And I mean, you play now with the carry Lone Druid, so he just kind of sits in the back line. Could be pretty decent with it. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see it banned out. But at the same time, Luna's pretty decent as well versus Wisp. I was gonna say the Enigma is also extremely good. That's probably what EG's looking at. But yeah, OG doesn't want to play against that again.
Did they do Winter Wyvern before? Or one of the teams do Winter Wyvern versus the Underlord?
Yes, we did see that, because you did see he used the Dark Rift and he died, and they killed him anyway when he finished it off. But was a Q playing it? I want to say, because I think he's one of the only ones.
He played, but it wasn't the matchup that I was thinking of.
Was it?
Because the game that you mentioned, Winter Wyvern lost.
Yeah, was it? I'm not really recalling which team it was, but EG kind of mentioned that Jarex's 2 best heroes, probably his Pudge and his Earth Spirit, so they do get rid of that one. And I think this is really good just because the Pudge helps so much in the mid lane and the off lane with these pulls that we've been seeing all the time. So just trying to get themselves some good lanes coming out already from EG.
10 seconds remaining.
Alright, OG, they have targeted 2 bans already to Universe, perhaps 3 if you could count the Slardar there as well. Any other heroes that you would be worried for Universe to do well against? Possibly a Lone Druid on the
Timber, I think.
Yeah, Timber. Very good versus Underlord. And good versus Lone Druid. Yeah.
Oh, they go for some Sniper instead. Now, knowing that you're most likely going to face a Sniper or not likely a Sniper, what am I saying? It's been a long day, guys. So, how do you prepare for that mid lane that we talked about earlier? The Sniper already removed. Does that say anything about what OG might go for?
Firstly, you have last pick, so I think you can actually wait for that matchup. You can even put Lone Druid in the mid. We haven't seen OG play Lone Druid yet, I believe, so I don't know who actually plays it on that team.
Used to be No-Tail, right?
Yeah.
'em. Yeah. 'Em. 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 'Em.
ban out the Warlock too, so the old school kind of counter thing versus the Shadow Demon we did see to deal with the illusions, but also OG's one of the more favorable heroes in the old patch for Fly.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, speaking of fly heroes, he loves the Dazzle for himself.
Yes.
Is still in the pool. Evil Geniuses have shown in the past that they sometimes remove the Dazzle from the pool in the first ban phase. But it looks like we're gonna have indeed a Fly CM coming out.
Played it before versus Faceless. He was just kind of this Crystal Maiden who was giving his team aura. He wasn't really having like the greatest impact. He did have a couple of decent freezing fields, but overall it was just kind of like this Crystal Maiden just kind of being there.
That's a way to help you win your mid lane. I think that was a big deal too. In the other game, they had like the Ogre and the Crystal Maiden beefing up the anti-mage so you could farm faster. This game is similar too. You have extra mana, just might give you that extra little bit of edge to maybe break even with Sumail.
Maybe break even. There's a chance.
There's a chance.
Alright, so you got yourself a Shadow Demon Luna strategy. Your enemy knows exactly what you're going to do because they have seen it numerous times before. How are you going to try to throw a little bit of a curveball? Or are you just going to not do that at all?
A way to get on top of the Lone Druid, I think, is one of the best ways. It's kind of like playing against a sniper. You need some way to close the gap often.
There you go.
That is a hero that does exactly that.
Yeah, I think the Underlord's pretty good versus the Centaur Warrunner. It's very difficult to champion out of the Pit of Malice, but you always need a gap closer versus like the Lone Druid Sniper. It's just, if you just allow him to sit back and attack, you're just going to lose.
10 seconds remaining.
Are we going to see perhaps a bit of an aggressive lane coming out from EG? They have been liking their dual off lanes. Is Centaur a hero that you could have a nice dual off lane with?
Yeah, the Ogre's still in the pool. Definitely still a possibility.
I really like these three together though, the SD, the Luna, and the Centaur. The SD can also set up a ton of bursts for the Centaur Warrunner, so you're using the disruption offensively as well as defensive setups with the Luna. Just a really nice trio.
Indeed it is. So OG, their plan, I mean they have got three heroes with a little bit of synergy, but their plan is still very much up in the air, very much unknown. Could you read a lot into their first three picks in terms of what plan they have for this game? You've got already a lot of push in the Lone Druid.
Yeah, the Lone Druid Underlord together makes sense. The Crystal Maiden is just one of those heroes that just beefs up everybody else. I think this one they probably still want to save Ana's hero for last. Yep. So this should be Jarex's hero coming out here for them.
Oh, with the Earth Spirit and Pudge removed.
They can still pick the Ogre for themselves as well.
Yeah, we have seen that before. I do always feel like a little bit wasted potential. Ogre is not really the hero with the highest skill ceiling, and we all know that Jarex is having a high skill ceiling on a lot of heroes.
He always tanks those ganks.
He tanks the ganks.
Absorbs damage, bloodlust your Lone Druid.
Yeah.
What other utility roles would he fulfill though?
Helping out mid lane. It comes back to that.
Yeah.
Having a hero that can have an impact to help Ana.
Rubik maybe? I guess is pretty stable versus the Shadow Demon, helps out the mid lane. I can't really think of that many playmaking fours that are particularly good here. Like Lion is, like you can stampede away from the Hex. It's like, it's not a great hero, although you can get rid of illusions. So Rubik's I think the most stable one.
Yeah, great spells to steal, help the lanes out, just have an impact in team fights.
OG agrees with you as Mirana gets picked up by Evil Geniuses. No hesitation there.
That could be
It's probably support.
probably support, yeah. Gives you more magic damage burst potential versus Underlord. So leaving they're mostly magical except for the Luna Blessing.
10 seconds
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
A bit more emphasis on trying to
remaining.
get those ganks going early, making OG a little bit worried about arrows flying in. Crystal Maiden is a fairly easy arrow target as she's a slow mover.
Yeah, they don't have a good offensive dual lane on OG. Like, Underlord doesn't really have a good partner. You don't want to park your Rubik up there, and CM's most likely jungling. So I think with the SD Miranda, they can actually kill the Underlord a lot.
Remove the Tinker from earlier. Left a bad taste in their mouth.
I've seen OD actually work pretty well versus Lone Druid. You can just Astral the Bear, and then just kind of run at the Lone Druid. But
Yeah, his int is pretty low as well on Lone Druid, so that could definitely be a possibility for EG. Gives him more setup as well.
Reserved.
And it is a mid laner that doesn't normally lose his lane.
Doesn't lose his lane, pure damage through the Atrophy Aura. I like the OD. Gives them even more team fight.
They already have quite a bit of team fight. If you compare the two team fights, is it that much EG favored? Am I missing
Pretty even.
It's kind of even. It's a little bit EG favored, probably.
Yeah.
It's going to be a scary one for OG in that regard, but perhaps their mid laner can fix that a bit, knowing that they like to team fight, and Evil Geniuses does too, so you need to be ready for that.
I think OG actually have stronger team fight. You have like Atrophy Aura,
So? Yeah.
Null Field, and then they have a natural mech carrier and the Underlord too. I think like they just have so much mitigation and heal that EG doesn't have enough burst to deal with it at the moment.
Like Queen of Pain last.
Oh, they ban out OD themselves and go for the Kunkka, and that...
More team fight. Ways to get into the back line. You get the rum, the movement speed.
Nice.
You like it. That means Mirana is Mr. Mail's hero?
More than likely.
Kunkka, you can just run at him. It's great. Centaur plus Kunkka.
Ooh, Alchemist. This is a hero we haven't seen at all.
Ooh.
That's
That's how they beat them in Boston.
that is how they beat them in Boston, but this is a very different Alchemist than Boston. And they're versus a Shadow Demon who can get copies of the Alchemist as well.
Risky, but it is a lane that Ana can win his lane with.
Yeah.
He's gonna get some help as well.
I'm liking EG. Still definitely liking EG, even though they're versus this gross Underlord hero. They just have a lot of magic damage burst potential. They're lacking a little bit in the physical, but Luna always helps you amplify with that, and they have so many different aspects of team fight. Moonlight Shadow with Kunkka Boat, Stampede, so many different ways to get into the back line. I feel like the supports on the side of EG match up better than the OG supports, which kind of fall off at one point, the CM and the Rubik compared to a Shadow Demon Kunkka, in my opinion.
I like OGs a lot. I think it's going to be pretty hard to invade the Alchemist jungle with their lineup. I think that like the Pit Lord just being around that area, it's going to be very difficult to stop this farm. I think, unless Sumail gets crazy.
So you've got yourself a split panel there.
Good stuff.
Guys,
Good
it is
stuff.
50-50 here. Let's hear what our commentators have to say about this first game of our grand finals. It is over to OD Pixel and Gods.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Indeed, we're here getting ready for Game 1 of the Best of 5 Grand Finals. OG up against Evil Geniuses. I'm OD Pixel. I'm here with Gods, and already it's starting to kick off. Look at these drafts, Gods. It's crazy. We've had this whole entire tournament, and yet still now at the later stages, we're seeing different heroes.
We are. We get a bit of the same, you know, your SD Lunas. Alk isn't really the same considering that the new patch, it's been completely forgotten, but the Lone Druid suddenly coming out just today. We've got the Alchemist making a late appearance, and EG getting aggressive.
Here they do hit the combo straight away onto the Rubik. Jerax is down, and Zai picks up first blood. A little unfortunate there, really. I mean, he did see the movement earlier, Jerax. He managed to spot them as they came down, but he stuck around, ends up paying with it.
You've got to expect an early rotation. I think he was expecting it, but he was hoping to reveal it and escape using the boots of speed advantage that he had. But he just got caught a bit too deep. And EG, you want to contest those early bounty runes. You're versing an Alchemist. You've got SD Luna Kunkka. You've got a great kind of combo with the Mirana arrow as well to follow the disruption. You're looking to stop those bounty runes being claimed, and they'll get 3 of the 4 bounty runes due to this.
Absolutely, there we have it, No-Tail. Snagging one. Crit will be able to take the one here from the Radiant side of the map on his way over. Looks like, yeah, S4 wanting to prioritize the block on this lane rather than looking to secure the rune. And also understandably worried about EG's movement here as this 3-man, as we've already seen the devastating effects it can have.
Oh, No-Tail stole one with his Spirit Barrel. I was looking at this like, wait, how did they get... Yeah, okay, now I see what you mean. Nice little play. So they actually end up splitting the bounty runes.
So the lanes are as it goes at the moment. Jerax is going to be looking to try and make this mid pull happen with the Ancients, but Crit, he knows his tricks. He's over there. Jerax is going to throw Crit in range, but the stun kind of stops the Ancients from punching in. At the least, it'll be enough to scare Crit away.
Yeah, he missed actually plopping him into the Ancients. They didn't draw aggro. So Crit just, trying to stop this, knowing that it's one of those things where it's like, how do you beat Sumail? You take away his farm, you take away his XP, do everything you can to try and secure this mid lane.
And of course, yeah, with this Jerax can't really do any sort of pull. It's just kind of a support on support action here, round by the Ancients. I'll look quickly elsewhere on the map. What's going on, Ana? 1v1 at Sumail at the moment. No sort of backup coming in for either of them. It's going to be a straight, it's just showing a skill between the two of them.
Oh, he gets 3 creeps with the mid pull. That's a win.
does get a bit of success there. Top lane, S4, getting the side pull as well. Zai trying to do his best to zone him out, give Arteezy the space that he needs.
Yeah, not zoning an Underlord with a melee support. Yeah. When your Shadow Demon's off contesting, that's the thing. Even though Jarex doesn't get that Ancient pull right away because the SD's there, the result of this is the off-laner S4 getting more out of the lane. So overall, it's still useful for Jarex to stay here. And it's actually, I think, EG recognizing, oh wait, this Underlord's getting too much, let's come and zone him. Sumail's just going to have to deal with having less experience, less farm in this mid lane. A full wave now being pulled to this Black Dragon camp.
And down on the bottom lane, Universe, at the moment 1v1 with No Tail. How do you expect this lane to go? Universe is going to do pretty well. I mean, already he's picking up CS in this matchup.
He does okay. It gets harder as the Spirit Bait. Once level 5, the Entangles come in, the lane gets a lot harder. But with a straight 1v1, it should be alright. It's a bit dangerous because the CM is kind of often missing from the map, getting a few levels in the jungle. And then if the Lone Druid gets a rotation from the Crystal Maiden, you can find yourself going down. So he doesn't want to really fall too much below half HP where he is now.
In this mid lane matchup, 8 for 3, 7 for 0. We did see Sumail take an early start, but these pulls certainly helping out the Alchemist in this mid lane, denying a fair bit away from what Sumail can get his hands on.
Yeah, this is really obnoxious. You're not happy if you're Sumail. Doesn't mean Rubik isn't getting much. Rubik isn't level 2 yet. He hasn't been able to actually kill the dragon, but he's got another wave.
I guess the full wave this time, so a nice pull through there from Jarex.
That's 2 full waves in a row, actually. So, I mean, there was 1 wave between that did slip through, but that is very, very annoying. He even comes mid, throws a Fade Bolt just to make sure that Ana takes less damage from tanking the creep wave, but see Sumail, like, even with this happening, he still is not behind on CS, but he's a lower CS than he normally would be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people kind of talked about Ana's weakness in the laning stage. This is certainly a way to make sure that he's able to balance it out with Sumail, who's been having a fantastic time in the mid lanes recently.
EG moving bottom with the smoke, though. They want to punish this Lone Druid in the laning stage, and a hero that is somewhat prone to being ganked.
Now let's see what Crit can achieve here.
There's a point in the Savage Roar, so has to use this Savage Roar well if he wants to live.
Let's see, Crit will find the setup. Universe looking to move into position. There'll be the Savage Roar to send the Centaur packing, but Zai was in there with the Torrent, looking to body block No Tail off as they dive underneath the trees. No sort of TP's coming in for the moment, but No Tail, he's able to duke it out, and it's EG now indeed that's in trouble. Zai goes for the TP away. He's not going to make it though, flies there with the rotation, and they'll get the kill onto the Kunkka.
Yeah, really good juking from No Tail. He even body blocked the Centaur as he went into those trees to make sure that he could stay away from the hoof stomp before tangoing on through to make a little pathway. That was some fantastic moves.
Jarex, a little bit of a play around here with Crit, chucking him back up. Crit will have to hold him back with a disruption fly. Nearly has the mana there as he clarities up, but Crit looks like he's got the movement speed. CM, not too speedy at all, of course, even though she does have the boots. And the Shadow Demon is out there, back to safety. The mid lane matchup, still Sumail with that lead, regardless of what was happening with the Ancient Pulls. 23 for 8 against Ana's 17 for 1. Yeah. And both safe laners at the moment getting even amounts of farm. Got Arteezy and No Tail in a similar location with this, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Alk's never been a hero you expect him to go mid and win on CS, so you're not too worried there. And I think Sumail's still going to be frustrated just because of how much farm and XP he has lost. He's lost like a good maybe 10 creeps or so to that Ancient Pull. But he has been able to fall back into the jungle. Ooh, misses the arrow on a Wild Wing, unfortunately, but he's been able to at least go back into the jungle and get a few arrows off in between missing waves at mid.
Yeah, likewise with Ana, we've seen him kind of duck and dive, pick up the bounty rune, swap places with Jarex, trying to help him get a few levels in this mid lane. Level 3 at the moment.
Bit of a stack up top. That's a triple stack for the big camp, which Luna is likely wanting to farm a bit later on. Something that S4 is thinking, I've got 3 points in Firestorm. Can I contest this?
Crip has the setup onto S4. He is a big, tanky old brute. Is he tanky enough to withstand what EG are throwing at him? It looks like he may just be here. S4 walks it off. Artur's trapped in the pit. He's down. And the power of the Underlord, we're seeing why it's so strong. God's 3 heroes coming in, and they can't kill him.
Arteezy went in on very low HP to start that off. Probably think, oh, bottom lane. Oh, gonna get solo killed. No Tail diving tier 1s, getting away with it because of the play that EG went up for top lane, knowing that there's going to be no sort of rebuttal. So OG making some smart decisions here across the map. EG still desperate to find that kill they're looking for up the top lane. They will catch out Fly. The pit will be dropped down in return. Holds back the EG, but it's not enough to save the CM.
So this time EG do get the kill with that movement.
Yeah, it's a Moonlight Shadow, a long 140-second cooldown being used, perhaps thinking that EG were going to see like more heroes rotate top and some issues come up, but now Moonlight Shadow, EG maybe a bit more limited in the kind of rotations they can make towards some of their other lanes with the supports. Arrow will go flying. Not going to hit anything at bottom lane, but No-Tells, yeah, he's looking to be in a very good position now with that kill.
Absolutely, it's been a pretty good lane for him on the bottom. Universe still found a bit of CS, but indeed just giving up that kill in the 1v1. I guess he just didn't expect the aggression of No-Tell chasing him down right to the tier 2s. And maybe you just have to be a little bit more prepared to be able to have some sort of resource to send down to that bottom lane if No-Tell does come diving.
I think typically you are going to TP and punish the lone druid for that, but No-Tell got the memo or saw at top lane, hey, there's a fight going on. There's a 3v2 kind of action. His CM killed the Luna. He knows that he's got this little window where the supports of EG are kept busy, and good communication allows him to find that kill.
I'll see where the next movement comes through, Sumail. Just indeed continue to pick up some larger creeps in the jungle with the arrow. S4 will be backed up by a smoke up. Jerax and Fly looking to move into position. At the same time, Crit, he wants to get some sort of a setup. Will dispel the smoke. He's going to make the first jump. They'll turn towards Crit, drag him down, bring him back. There's going to be already a preempted Dark Rip from S4, realizing the danger that OG's in, but Fly, he's already down. S4 will be able to save Jerax. But they still lose a kill here to EG.
Yeah, good move with the Dark Rift. As soon as you see that run up top, you're like, okay, EG's committed a lot of heroes up here. There's a Luna Eclipse. There is no way you can take that fight against the level 7 Mirana and the Eclipse. So making sure that it's just a single hero casualty. You could almost see Fly living if that Dark Rift managed to get off like half a second sooner. But again, it's EG kept busy at top, which means No-Tell is zoning Universe away, getting good damage onto the tier 1 tower. All in all, OG very happy with this early game.
Absolutely, one more bit of a push and No-Tell should be able to finish this bottom tier 1 off.
Yep. Alchemist has also been left alone. He got the armlet at 7 minutes in, which is a pretty normal, decent timing. He's got his jungle to farm, he's got the bounty runes, he's being very effective on this hero. Does lose a bounty rune. He TP'd to his shrine, I think, expecting the top bounty rune, but S4 had already taken that one, so not the end of the world, but it's one of those things you need to communicate with your Alchemist if he's going to want those bounties.
Bottom lane, the tower did go down. Zai did manage to find the deny, but immediately No-Tell, after getting the objective half done down on the bottom lane, moves up towards the top lane.
That's fine. I mean, it will slow down your item timings a little bit, not getting the tower last hit, but he makes the right move. You take that tower and you immediately get out of there. There's a big stack waiting for you up top, as well as another tier 1 tower to take. You can't solo push a tier 2 bottom tower, but what you can do is swing top, join up with your team, and take this tower, perhaps trading for EG, getting a tier 1, but as a lone druid, you just want to get that Maelstrom up as soon as possible.
Yeah, we had Zai there in the Radiant jungle with eyes onto Ana. There was a bit of backup moving across, but of course this ward from OG spotted all the movement from Sumail and Crit coming through, so they knew to keep Ana back.
Yeah, you really need control of that big Radiant jungle at the bottom if you want to be farming that Radiance at a big time for an Alchemist. So EG knowing this, they get in, they get down an aggressive ward. They're also pushing this bottom tier 1 tower, which helps them take control of the Radiant jungle. So Ana's going to have to get a bit more creative with where he farms. Maybe just slow down his farm rate and just farm on this left side where he is now. There's Ancients there, there's the Bounty Rune, and there are a couple of camps. So he's probably just going to see a slower farm rate now that he's lost control of his jungle.
Yeah, so it looks like, as well as you were kind of mentioning with Ana's farm, Armlet, Radiance, and then the kind of the Manta, Octarine, Boots of Travel. You don't think we're going to see any sort of item that indicates he wants to get involved earlier?
Probably not. Sometimes you see the fast Blink Dagger pick up. Nice.
Mid lane, yeah, Sumail getting a solo kill. Got a good connection with the arrow, and Jerax couldn't react quite in time. Now going to use the Stampede, and it looks like they were trying to get into position maybe to have a bit of a go on to Ana. But Ana's already out of there. Still 4 for 3 at the moment. EG with the leading kills. The farm's good for the Alchemist. And of course No-Tell continuing to get a lot of space. Ever since he moved up to this top lane, we're yet to really see EG look to do anything to push him back out of it.
Yep. He's having a great game. And you kind of talked about the Alchemist and his build. He's still top of the net worth, but he's not getting that ridiculously good Radiance timing. That 12-13 minute Radiance is kind of like the ideal timing in a good game, but even a 15-16 minute one is going to be fine. The big thing is not getting slowed down by dying. So he's just taking the slow, steady farm. His team is leaving him this safe bounty rune up top, and No-Tell's creating space by pressuring lanes. This is the big thing. The other 4 heroes need to create space.
EG tried for a wraparound there with a Moonlight Shadow, but a good scam from the Radiant did read their location. So immediately OG move out to the west side.
EG's playing very good defensive Dota. EG's making the right aggressive moves. They're pressuring the bottom lane. They've taken over the Radiant jungle, 2 aggressive wards, but they just haven't been able... It's really just OG reading them. Like, they've used the scannons there. They're just reacting very well defensively, and EG really want kills right now. They don't want to let OG get to this timing where they're going to have a Radiance on Ana and a Lone Druid pushing down all their towers.
Again, tower trading going on. The pressure's on from OG in the mid lane, but at the same time, Artor's down there with Crit Solutions, doing a heavy amount of damage to the tier 2. A Dark Rift will come through. Gonna be the team of OG looking to hold on to that tier 2 on the bottom lane. Didn't quite finish off the tier 1 mid, but very, very low indeed. One more push should be able to get the job done there.
This is still fairly even, I'd say, between the two teams. It's going to come down to whether or not EG can kind of force a fight. Probably around the Universe Blink Dagger is going to be big key item timing for them, where they'll start using up their smokes, and if they don't find kills with Universe's Blink, they're probably in trouble at that point with the scaling of the Lone Druid, the Alchemist, and just the sheer team fight of OG. Something Ben mentioned is you've got all this damage mitigation. You've got the Rubik Null Field, you've got the Atrophy Aura on the Underlord. Team fights will heavily favor OG in the late game, as well as the mid game, assuming OG can get their items up.
And do you like this decision from Notel? First start in this game, getting himself the Maelstrom on the Lone Druid himself.
Yeah, he's going to be going this new right-click build. It seems like the optimal build at the moment on Lone Druid. Saw TZ do something similar. He did get the Dragon Lance first, as well as the Treads, I believe, but just something a bit different. I'm not really sure, honestly, what the optimal build is. It's such a new style of playing the Lone Druid. So it seems obviously one of the optimal items is just where you get it, whether it's a first item, second or third.
Right, actually going to get the kill onto Universe up top there. Jerax finding him out, the two support combos. And
that's a big kill.
Yeah, knocking him down on this road to the Blink Dagger.
Yeah,
he's going to be knocked down 500.
Freezing Field and an arrow. Looks like a stolen arrow. That's a really nice one to have when you've got like a Frostbite to set you up. And OG have managed to slowly claw their way to Ana's relic just by creating space for him. It's at this point starting to become a slower-ish Radiance, but he's lost a lot of his control over his jungle, so it's kind of to be expected.
A lot of pings onto Notel there, maybe seeing if Sai could have got in range there for the X marks catch. But very, very hard to catch out this Lone Druid with his speed and distance that he can keep away from danger.
Yeah, for EG, they want to just keep pressuring the OG side of the map. I'd love to get control of their secret shop as well, but until they take a tier 1 mid tower, for example, I feel like that's just going to be too tricky for them. So trying to get another tower down at bottom, but risky thing to continue doing. If OG want to group up, they may consider defending soon. That Radiance is very close.
Interesting choice from Arteezy as well with his helm. Picks up the Ghost. I mean, a 20% move slow. It's not bad, Gods.
It's not bad. I haven't seen him usually go for this one. Maybe he's going to wait till he finds something better, like if he finds an Alpha Wolf, go for that option. But it's, yeah, definitely not the neutral I expect him to be latching onto.
On top lane, Zai. Looks like he's going to check out the high ground. He's going to drop down a ward. Looks like he is, yeah. Get a bit of vision over this side of the map from OG. Top lane, and talking about OG Fly, Jerax, and S4.
They saw Zai, so they know he's in the neighborhood. They just know this Centaur's trying to farm a Blink. He's 1 CS away. Oh, is he going to get picked off again? Universe.
Really, if they could find it, but it looks like Universe should be safe. In fact, yeah, he's just going to, by the looks of it, just wait it out.
Yeah, like
no point risking it when you're this close.
Or will he? Okay, he combos the wave. Yeah. I think you know if you're OG, like that's what he's doing, but...
Well, they're going to try and move in. Stampede will be used. They'll be able to hold back Zai.
I think OG want to get out here. They may just Dark Rift away. Oh no, they're rotating in instead. They're going to try and fight.
Yeah, no teleport in as well. They'll look towards Zai, but the Maelstrom doing huge amounts of burst damage. They're bringing down the Admiral. Bunkers out. Smell with the Invis rune. Wonder if he can get into position, but with one man down, looks like EG deciding to just back away from this fight. And OG with this push, we'll see how much they can get done to the tier 2. They are actually going to use the Moonlight. They want to try and do something bigger, perhaps with Universe's Blink, and indeed jumps in onto Notel. The follow damage isn't quite there. There'll be a destruction, but immediately S4 going for the Dark Rift out. Can they keep Notel alive? No, they can't. Notel's going to fall. The rest of OG will escape. But EG, they get that big old kill, taking down the Lone Druid. He's been having a pretty clean game so far.
Yeah, good kill to get. They need to be killing the OG core, something they just haven't been able to do for the Alchemist or the Lone Druid the entire game. Both of those two players have been deathless despite a lot of aggressive EG maneuvers and rotations, so first kill they get on the Lone Druid, it's still, I think there's still a lot of concerns in EG's heads right now about, okay, this Alchemist has been untouched, he's got his Radiance Armlet, he's been picking up bounty runes. You're very worried about his item timings causing you issues here, and Lone Druid has been having a very good impact, pushing towers, creating space. The one death alone is not going to really cripple him at all. His items are on par with both Mirana's and Luna's, really.
I mean, 16 minutes in, we're seeing it 5 for 5 on the board. Is any kind of team on the timer here? Is it just, you know, the fact that OG have this out-clone Druid is terrifying for EG, or can a Luna withstand to it once she gets to the late game?
I think Luna's going to struggle. I mean, EG have some decent team fight if they can get like farm on like the center as well, for example, get him up to an Aghanim Scepter. Their late game is still potent. Shadow Demon, Disruption Illusion, so the more farm on OG is, the stronger those illusions will be if Crit's making those Alch illusions in a fight. But it does feel like EG haven't done quite enough. They haven't found opportunities to use the Eclipse. They haven't found those big team fights. And OG been playing kind of 4v5-ish. It's these 4-man pushes while Alch farms. We haven't seen Ana get involved in one bit whatsoever, but he is just so comfortable in this Alchemist. He knows, and his team knows, that if he gets the space to farm, he will have that big impact later on in this game.
Oh, again, Radiant kind of hitting the jackpot there with the Cyan. They know that EG's there.
They want to fight around their wards. They're hoping that EG move into their jungle, since that's a move EG have been making time and time again. They want to invade the Radiant jungle, get wards down, play aggressive, but with EG having lost their vision in this area of the map, it gets more dangerous to do so. So they'll do so under the cover of smoke.
And they may get a good jump. It is just the 3 of them.
Good positioning from OG though.
Yeah, OG realizing that something's up, and after their smoke themselves wore out, they back away. EG have got Crit and Arteezy moving over to join them. It's going to be a potential full 5-on-5. Jarek moves forward. He's going to be the first to be jumped on. Immediate elimination at the Rubik. Zai looking to set up for more, gets the X-Mark. Both coming through as well. A good pit from S4 holds them back. The Fear as well is kind of split Sumail away from the rest of the team, but Fly to fall. EG coming out on top so far. Ana revving up the concoction, but already EG's out of there with the Moonlight and the Stampede. They get themselves the 2 clean kills and make sure that there's no way that OG can punish them for it.
Yeah, Ana queued the stun pre-TP. There was, I think, a moment of hesitation with EG there. I was watching Ana like, okay, is he going to boot to travel in for this fight? Because it was a fight OG could have potentially won, but Ana waited maybe a second or two before deciding to come. Or perhaps the team said they were just going to back off and just lose the support and keep on farming. I think OG are just fine if they lose a Rubik and continue to farm, which is close to the end result. They lost to CM as well. The biggest deal for them, they're still farming at a very good rate on both Alchemist and Lone Druid, but EG getting more map control. They get another deep ward in this Radiant jungle, which is key for them strategically, and they put themselves in position to try and take a tower up top with Arteezy.
Talking about Arteezy as well, the net worth of him and Sumail looking very impressive indeed. A clear 1,000 or so ahead of No-Tail's Lone Druid. So they're going to be very happy with the progression that they've got. Arteezy, Dragon Lance, Yasha, Helm in the bank. Sumail very close to having that Blink Dagger on top of the Aghanims at this 19-minute mark.
Yeah, I think if you're EG, you're kind of happy with how Luna and Mirana are doing at this stage. And you're going to be making your next moves around perhaps one more item, like get a Manta Style on Luna, the Blink Dagger on Sumail, and you've got a lot of damage output between these two. The Spell Amp from the Mirana talent is going to be really nice as well, as far as just being able to burst people down, and definitely something that Lone Druid can be prone to. They've got good gap close, which is perhaps, I mean, you're looking at this new Lone Druid to kind of talk a bit about it. It's all about this heavy attack range. It was part of the reason why it was so successful last time these two teams met when Arteezy was playing it, is this huge range he has. He never was getting hit by Eclipse from Luna because he just outranged everything so badly, but against Centaur Stampede and the Mirana with a Blink to kind of be a gap closer, it's a lot harder to play this ranged Lone Druid because you kind of lose that big attack range advantage.
Looking at some of the sports in EG as well, Zai has queued up the Midas. It seems like this is starting to be a trend that's sort of coming back, Gods. We're seeing games where supports very early on, once back, they're going to those Midas pickups.
Yeah, for position supports, Midas is a great item on a lot of them. Well, heroes that Kunkka just don't need items. You're all about just getting your spells off in a fight. There's no big game-changing items. You've got the utility items, the initiation from the Centaur, so you're happy to go for that Midas pick.
Top lane, looking for the setup, crit, demonic purge into the disruption. Zai won't quite get out the initial torrent. Eclipse coming through as well from Martins, but it's not quite enough damage. That will be enough though. If they bring him back into the boat, they take down one. Anna will find the Shadow Demon in return. EG, and they're going to stick around for this. They have the Moonlight Shadow though. Anna, a bit too big for them to tackle at the moment with the Radiance Burn chasing them down. Arteezy falling low, but a good stop from the Universe. The Stampede as well. Arteezy survives. Turnaround takes one, finally gets taken down. Jerax comes in with a Fade Bolt, and with the help of Fly, they've beaten down a third. Zai, can he hatch out anything else? He's going to have another torrent. Looks for the setup onto Fly, brings him back into the reaches of Universe, and they'll cut down a third. Great ending there, 3 for 3 between the two teams.
Losing both their big players in Sumail and Arteezy though, so OG slight winners of that one. Gold-wise, they do lose, but it's gold going to the Kunkka, the Centaur, and Lone Druid surviving, so I feel like it's slightly OG favored. It was also a fight fought well on EG's side, so we're not going to see any EG objectives to follow it up. But it's almost like an even fight to kind of talk about that one, but very good plays from Jerax's Rubik. Stole a hoof stomp in the end, was blinking, well, not blinking, and he just moved in aggressively, got off a nice hoof stomp. And on EG's side, they did a really good job to burst down Anna when they did. Otherwise, that next stun that he was about to throw was going to cause all kinds of problems.
Big for Jerax that he survived, got a bit of gold from that, very close to that blink himself. 200 gold, and he's going to have that in play. And as you already mentioned, a lot of nice spells that he can look to take away and combo with that blink.
See what the next plays are going to be. Anna's going to try farm with that Octarine. Just needs a bit more HP survivability. If he had even just a bit more HP there, it would have been a very different fight. I mean, it's a decent game for Acceptors to be pulled. Looking at Rubik and the supports mostly, Rubik, Crystal Maiden, their ulti upgrades. The Lone Druid one is not that scary because the bear isn't getting items. So pulling a Lone Druid and Ags is more just a stats thing at this point. But still going to be interesting to see how things scale past the point where Alchemist is 6 slot. That's really OG's timing. Get Alk his 6 slottedness, and then beyond that they're not going to get a whole lot scarier because the Alk does kind of cap out very, very early on.
Do you feel like we're going to see either team look to force the Roshan, or do both lineups kind of require getting a kill before heading into the pit at this stage still?
OG could if EG are playing too defensively, but I don't think that's something EG want to do. They want to fight with their ultis. And try and put some pressure onto the OG side, but if OG can get to a point where they get the ALK 6 slotted and EG have lost map vision and control, that's where they'll take a Roche.
Sumail jumping in, does instantly get rooted, but that allows Arteezy and Sumail to turn around and get themselves a nice bit of a cash bonus as they bring down the bear. 300 gold in the back. Illusion's coming through, looking to bring the tier 2 down, won't quite make it. As OG are able to hold on and will actually be able to deny the tower. Take away a little bit of the gold from EG, but EG already moving over to the mid lane, looking for another objective. Anna not going to get close enough to be caught out. Still 24 minutes coming up, 8 to 10. Both teams, I mean, as you mentioned, OG definitely had some kind of favorable highlights in the laning stage, but still overall just that Sumail and Arteezy keeping themselves in a very good place and not being knocked down by any of the movements. They're consistently farming. This
is the kind of like gold lead in an Alchemist game that you need to kind of be saying, okay, our Alchemist strats work. We've got a 5k overall gold lead. Our Alchemist is 7k net worth ahead of the enemy cores. If you're not in this position, you're losing as Alchemist. If you're like 1 or 2k gold ahead, it's not really good enough. So it looks like on paper, OG's doing a bit better. They've got this 20k net worth Alchemist, but realistically, that's the Alchemist strat working. But EG's side of things, like they're kind of in range where they can still chip away at this lead, and one big fight is all they're going to need to turn it around and actually be ahead. And whoever wins this first big team fight coming up is going to be the team who has a lot greater control over this match.
And Arteezy looks like he is going to go for the BKB next, so building defensively. And I guess this is fine, because he needs it against the lineup of OG, and they've already got lots of damage output coming through elsewhere because of this huge amount of burst that this Mirana can offer, and especially because Sumail is working towards that, the Ethereal Blade, and he's pretty much got it done. Just over 1,000 away from having the full out item.
OG look to force this. They see a lot of EG heroes top. They want to force EG to defend their base, and if not, even take this tier 3 tower if EG are too slow.
Let's see what they can do. EG already coming through. There's Sumail and Universe jumping in. They'll find S4, but immediately the telekinesis bringing Universe into the clutches of OG, and they've found themselves the first kill. Universe down for 50 seconds. They're moving with the boat, but again, the 3-man route. Anna cooking up with the concoction, finds Sumail. They aren't going to have enough damage to finish him off, though. OG already starting to back off, making sure that they don't overstay their welcome here on the high ground of Evil Geniuses.
They're just so strong with all the damage mitigation. They've got the pipe on S4 now. They haven't quite maxed out their 2 auras, but you can only imagine what's going to happen when they have maxed out Nullfield and maxed out a Trophy Aura. EG's damage output is just not going to look all that impressive. It's already 2 points in each, and things only get harder. They've got the Glimmer Cape on Crystal Maiden. And that's where I feel like OG will have the advantage in the late game. It's just because team fights are going to be so tricky to burst people down just through the kind of supports and the utility of Underlord as well as Rubik.
I mean, how do EG deal with this? We saw them try and get something done across the map, and they did manage to find the tier 2. Do they just have to be prepared to tackle these high ground offenses? Are we going to see them go out aggressively and look to try and break apart OG's lineup before OG come together for a 5-man push again?
I think OG at that point where you want to just use that high ground defender's advantage now. They have their items. Your best bet is fighting around your shrines, around your tier 3 towers. Find that key disruption, or maybe even just disrupting your Luna illusions and sending them out, but killing a 5v5 on like even terrain is going to be tough.
Well, they've found Anna. They are going to go in. OG do have backup. Jax is there to hold RTZ back for the time being. Anna, he's A-okay. The root songs are 2. The concoction to follow up again. There's a Stampede trying to get Crit out back to safety, but S4, Jax, Anna, and Fly turn up, and they cut down the Shadow Demon. We're seeing there, as you said, you know, maybe it's best for EG to hold back, because they come out, they poke at OG. OG immediately turn around and stab them.
EG just... I mean, it's hard to say they're lacking damage, but that's exactly what it is. Even with the Luna and Mirana soon to have an Ethereal Blade, their approach to these fights has to be find that key hero to burst down at the start, and that's where whoever that is going to get Glimmer Cape. But you just need to throw as much damage as possible. Blink in, Hoof Stomp, followed up with the Ethereal Blade, Starstorm combo. You've got to get that fast, quick kill. Ideally on someone like Anna. If you go on Anna though, you have to kill him. Otherwise, he's going to regen incredibly fast with this Octarine Chemical Rage.
Universe trying to jump in, they're trying to take away the bear at least to begin with. Only able to remove that, keeping the tier 3 just about alive. OG actually going to send down a TPing out, the rest of them backing away as well. So OG, as soon as they realize that EG are kind of pulling together this full 5-man defense, they break it off. They're fine playing the farm game, gods.
Yeah, and by pulling EG back to defend their high ground, it means they're not farming. Well, you can then TP back and farm 2-3 lanes. So EG know they're kind of being out farmed now. This gold lead is starting to increase in ways that EG aren't going to be too happy with, and EG decide they've got to make a move, get aggressive. They perhaps guessed wrong, thinking that Roche might be where they are, but that is not the case.
Can they find the catch though? OG are grouped up and prepared for this. RTZ will open up onto Jack. They jump through, burst down the Rubik. Can they get any more Demonic Purge onto S4? Will set up into the Torrent, the boat as well. EG, they find 2 clean pickoffs. They're not done yet. They'll jump forward onto Fly, but a fear from No-Tail sends them back. EG though, continuing to move in. They'll get the X mark onto Fly, bring back the Crystal Maiden. RTZ picking up a triple kill. Did you get anything more out of this one? Again, Zai with another X mark, brings back Anna, won't find the arrow follow through there. Anna gets Hurricane Pike back to safety by No-Tail. But EG with a very successful 5-man smoke out, taking 3 members of OG down.
Yeah, they got the high ground ward up there after the first pickoff, so at that point OG, like, easy to say in hindsight, oh, they should just let the Rubik die and not fought at all, but Alchemist had already preemptively TP'd in. He was stuck to the north, so in order to retreat, he had to walk past this ward, and EG had great vision, great control and catch with the Kunkka, so they get the kills and put themselves in position to take Roshan. OG, they want to stop this, they've got to react fast, and it doesn't look like they're going to be here in time. That is a really fantastic move for EG. It feels like that's the kind of play that's going to get them back in this game.
Is he going to do it? He wants to do it. He's heading straight in. In fact, Roshan's not quite dead yet. Anna moves in. Is he going to be able to take it? He is. He gets it, but Zai will snatch the Aegis. EG still secure the Aegis. EG falling low. S4 moving in the midst of it all. RTZ's already popped the Eclipse, bringing them down, but it's in fact EG that's falling. They've lost 2. Jarak stole the Eclipse and turns around the fight, and they're going to be able to kill Zai for a second time by the looks of it. Sumail will jump back in, burst down Fly, but OG turn in, bring down the Kunkka as well. And OG there, they get the Roshan kill, they make sure that the Aegis means nothing. Huge amounts of damage coming out from Jarex, and imagine from the Stolen,
big top.
actually, it doesn't even show the 66 low.
Jarex blinks on the high ground.
There we go, dragging in one. Shadow Demons out. The buybacks have to come through. EG, they've got to throw everything in this to stop OG from getting away with this push. 2 buybacks coming in. Can they get a kill off the back of it? Jarex is being chastened down here by the illusions of the SD, and will burn out.
Well,
And OG maybe getting a little too giddy with that play. I mean, it did force out 2 buybacks, I guess.
For Rubik, you're
It's true.
definitely okay with that. It was a very aggressive play, and I love that Jarex just immediately blinks on the high ground, knowing there may be someone there defending. And killing a Shadow Demon is a big deal when the disruption can be so annoying to push into. Making illusions of Alchemist or Luna can be a big thwart in that push, but
I mean, we're just looking at the net worth. I mean, kind of the whole fight and the buybacks coming into play, giving OG that huge boost here, nearly bringing them up to about the 12,500 net worth lead.
that's the Luna buyback. So if you find that Luna sometime in the near future, that's a long respawn on Arteezy and potentially a game-winning play for OG to make. I'm going to start working on that first Aghanim Scepter, it looks like, as Alchemist will be sending that one. I wonder.
I was gonna say, what's the Aghanim's priority here for the side of OG?
Is Rubik the first priority?
I think it might be, especially if he's stealing Eclipse Gods.
CM ulti is pretty fantastic, but Rubik is, yeah, it's Jarex as well, you know? It's like one of those things where...
Mid lane.
Oh dear.
Jump in from Samael, but immediately OG punishing Samael. He's out, and he's out for the count for good. 75 seconds, and that is a man that did not save for buyback gods. OG, I mean, they could look to try and punish this pretty heavily. A whole man down.
Yeah, the universe is immediately split pushing the bottom lane, but that's still just a centaur, not a hero you're thinking, oh, that he's going to take our base that fast, and top lane's exposed, so they may get 2 lanes of racks off of this.
Oh, it's a painful death for Samael. OG can get away with this push. Can EG hold with the 4 of them? Universe will jump in. It's a good torrent combo. Jarex, though, immediately on the backlines with the stolen boat. Jumps it out here. Jarex is pulling it off here. He keeps himself alive, and because of the stolen boat, he got it over his team. They've got the rub on them, so the damage that EG's doing is absolutely minimal. With the Atrophy Aura and the Kunkus Rum, they can't even tickle OG. They just stick on the high ground. Fortification will come through, but OG, they'll take down the tier 3. They'll confidently move on to the racks as well. Doing huge amounts of structural damage to EG. Universe comes in desperately trying to slow it up, but look at No Tail with the Scardy, the damage the Londra is doing. That's going to be Universe out. Arteezy to fall as well. Neither of them with buyback, of course, as Arteezy is still on cooldown. And Jarex, he's just starting around, walks in with the Who Stomp into Shadow Demon. It is GG, it certainly is. OG taking game 1. Very, very flashy as well. And it's really nasty to point at a certain bit, but that Samael death hurt them so much, gods.
It did. The game was definitely going kind of downhill for EG at that point already, and I think you could really see it